Hi there, this is Dan Daniels. These are certainly some challenging times we're living through right now. We've got a public health crisis, the stock market's been a roller coaster ride, and we've got an impending national election where it's anybody's guess what the tax law will look like after that election occurs. But along with these challenges come opportunities, or at least opportunities to make positive responses to the challenges. For example, the falling stock market does mean lower asset values, but that can be an opportunity to make gifts. As you probably know, the idea behind a gift is to freeze the value of the gifted property at the time of the gift, hoping for appreciation to occur outside the estate tax system. One of the responses that's been made to the fall in the stock market has been the Fed's lowering of interest rates. Certain estate planning strategies become actually much more attractive the lower an interest rate runs, and I'll talk about some of those strategies in a few minutes. We've also got the challenge of the uncertainty around the election. Depending on who gets elected, the tax law could radically change. For example, the estate tax exemption currently is over $11 million, but that could go down significantly if the election changes the party in control in Washington. There may be an opportunity, or at least a response here, which is to make a gift now at the higher exemption level, hoping to be grandfathered into that higher exemption, even if the exemption is lowered later. Let's talk about two strategies that become really attractive when interest rates go down, the GRAT and the sale for a promissory note. What's a GRAT? A GRAT is a trust, an irrevocable trust, that an individual, the grantor, makes a gift to, taking back an annuity stream for a set period of years. And at the end of that period of years, whatever's left in the trust passes to the children. The game that's being played with a GRAT is how do we value the taxable gift? The taxable gift is equal to what you put in the trust minus the discounted present value of what you took out. You need a discount rate to figure out the discounted present value of that annuity stream, and the IRS publishes a rate for us every month. The rate for April is at an historic low of 1.2%, and I'm going to show you an example of how beneficial that is. Let's take an example. Suppose our grantor has a $10 million asset that she gives to a GRAT. She retains the right to an annual payment of about $1,067,000 for 10 years. What's the value of the taxable gift? Well, I told you before, it's what you put in the trust minus what you took out. So the grantor put a $10 million asset into the trust. What did she take out? An annuity stream of $1,067,000 per year for 10 years. What is the discounted present value of that stream of payments? At the April discount rate of 1.2%, the value of that stream of 10 payments is about $10 million. So the value of the gift is zero. How can this be beneficial? Well, if the assets in the trust produce a rate of return of greater than the discount rate, mathematically there has to be money left over in that trust at the end of the term. With a 1.2% discount rate, it's pretty easy to outperform and have some assets left over that pass tax-free to the children at the end of the term. As you can see from the slide, if, for example, there were a 5% rate of return, the children would receive over $2.8 million tax-free. A close cousin of the GRAT that can produce even better returns for the children is the sale to a trust for a promissory note. And this is a fairly simple-looking transaction. The grantor finds an asset that he thinks is going to appreciate in value and sells it to an irrevocable trust for the benefit of his children or other descendants. The grantor is paid by the trust, with the trust issuing its promissory note. Usually the note is structured to be interest only for 9 years with a balloon payment of principal at the end of the 9th year. Value will be transferred outside the transfer tax system if the trust investments outperform the interest rate on the note. This is just leveraged investing. The interest rate on the note is set by the IRS each month. The April 2020 interest rate is near historic lows of only 0.99%. Let's look at an example of how the note sale works. Suppose we have a grantor with a $10 million asset that he sells to an irrevocable trust for his descendants. The trust pays the grantor with its promissory note, bearing interest at 0.99%, so the trust pays the grantor $99,000 per year for 9 years with a balloon payment of principal of $10 million at the end of the 9th year. Like the GRAT, the benefit here is if the assets in the trust perform at a rate greater than the hurdle interest rate. The hurdle interest rate for a note sale is only 0.99%, whereas it was 1.2% for the GRAT. So it's even easier to outperform than using a GRAT. In addition, with the GRAT, in effect, principal is being paid out every year. With the note sale, only interest is being paid, so the trust has the benefit of that appreciating asset for a much longer period of time. That's a very powerful combination. Look at the slide. If the asset performs at 5% a year, the children receive over $4.4 million, whereas with the GRAT, remember, they receive something in excess of $2 million. And now for the fine print. I've emphasized the benefits of GRATs and note sales because this is a prime time to utilize those techniques. But each has its pluses and minuses, some of which are illustrated on the slide. And for some clients, neither technique will be a good fit. They may need some different strategy. The key thing to do is to talk to your Wigan attorney if you're interested in any of this, and he or she can steer you in the right direction. Thanks so much.